Most of my work is with teenagers, and when you work with adolescents, you learn a lot about impulse control, emotional regulation, calming down. Turns out those skills aren't just useful for teens, they are useful for all of us. That work led to leading addiction and recovery groups where regulation isn't just helpful, it is critical. Disclaimer, I'm an associate therapist. One day I'd like to be a psychologist, but I believe the best way to learn is to teach, so here we are. So what is regulation and why is it so hard? We often get dysregulated when we feel overwhelmed or unsafe, socially, emotionally, or physically. It's our body's response to threat. Our heart rate spikes, our breathing becomes shallow, our muscles tense, our digestion slows, our pupils dilate. It's our sympathetic nervous system coming online. Our body is preparing to fight, flee, or freeze. Now, we often don't realize when we're dysregulated. It happens in traffic, a tense moment with our boss, even just scrolling on our phones. But when we are dysregulated, we're more likely to use substances, act out, shut down, do things that help in the short term, but can often come at a long-term cost. So we tend to get dysregulated when we feel unsafe. What should we do to regulate? Feel safe. And we usually feel safe by working with our bodies, our minds, or our relationships. There are over 520 different types of therapy, everything from yoga therapy to Jungian dream analysis. But generally speaking, most fall into three buckets: body, mind, and people. Today, let's double-click on the mind, specifically cognitive distortions. Here are two glasses of water. One is tall and narrow, the other short and wide. Which one has more liquid? Well, if you're between 4 and 6 years old, you'll probably say the taller one, even if you just saw the same liquid poured between them. Studies show that 70 to 80% of kids that age make this mistake. But by age 7 to 8, most figure it out. The volume stays the same, even if the shape changes. Why do younger kids get it wrong? Because most of the time, taller does mean more. So rather than calculating the exact volume, their brains build a rule: taller equal more. It's not irrational, it's efficient. That's what a cognitive shortcut looks like. This doesn't just apply to kids. Adults do this all the time. We assume the loudest person in the room is the leader. We believe something is true just because we've heard it a bunch of times. We trust confidence over accuracy. We confuse intensity with importance. In the 1970s, psychologist Leonard Bickman found that strangers were far more likely to follow orders, like picking up trash, if the person giving them wore a uniform. So how does this relate to therapy? In the 1980s, psychiatrist David Byrne studied thousands of patients and noticed a consistent pattern in how people struggling with depression, anxiety, and addiction thought about themselves and the world. Just like the children misjudging which glass had more water, these patients were unintentionally distorting reality, not because they were irrational, but because their minds were using shortcuts that once made sense. Just like the kids assuming the taller glass has more water because that shortcut usually works, our cognitive distortions often have a short-term benefit. They simplify complexity, they reduce ambiguity. They offer a sense of control, even if that control is false. Sometimes believing you're a total screw-up is emotionally easier than living in the gray area. It saves us the energy and the vulnerability of trying again. So next time you catch yourself being self-critical, maybe you're thinking, I'm not just a motivated person, just pause and ask yourself, is that actually true? Or is it a mental shortcut? One your brain uses to make sense of a hard moment. That moment of noticing, that's where change starts.